Welcome back to the Life to the Fullest podcast, everybody. I'm your host, Dan Jason, and we're here today. And I want to talk about a very important concept in our life, and that is about deposits. Throughout the course of history, so many people have done tremendous things. They have achieved great accolades, successes, and built winning systems in their life. And that's what I hope that you can do too. We're going to help to build a winning system and platform for you as well here on the Life to the Fullest podcast, the EF3 Life platform. As you know, the cornerstones of our organization is education, faith, fitness, and finance, and building relationships. In order to win in life, you have to make deposits. Certainly, this generation is not people who like to delay gratification. Instead, we want things to happen instantaneously, happen right away, and for there to not ever be any kind of waiting period at all. But the key aspect of our life in terms of fostering discipline and determination is to put in those deposits so that way the echo chamber of your life can come to full fruition. When you think about the fall season, when you look at the beautiful leaves that are coming off of the trees and the trees are preparing for the winter, sometimes in our life, there's a seasonal aspect that is taking place. There are times when we have to plant. Yes, there is the summertime where we are harvesting, but then the fall happens. And this is a time in our life where it's really important that we recognize that the deposits that we put into whatever it was that we are really focusing on and intentional about, that happened months and months prior. It is something to be said when someone starts out an exercise regimen or they start out some kind of diet, they start doing something new. We want that result to happen right away, but we have to wait. And when we learn to have deposits and we are intentional about our actions and we build those winning systems, which are for the long haul, then we will see the results, and it takes time. Like the great Michael Jordan said, I've always believed that if you put in the work, the results will come. We know that the results of becoming a great basketball player, an athlete, somebody who is an exceptional person as an entrepreneur, building a business, it all takes time. Now, that's not saying that you have to, be too patient with things or have a set plan in order to get after it, to rise and grind every single day. But what it does mean is that every person out there has to put in work. We have to put those deposits because we are going to experience the reverberating effects and impact of that in our life down the road. It's like journeying through a forest, right? You're going through and weaving in and out of trees. You're trying to look for the next step on the path. And in order to do so, you have to take the next right step to move the chains. It's in the inches. It's not in the miles. It's in the feet. It's in every single little bit that adds up and makes a difference. Because if you're somebody who is working really hard right now and you don't see the results, you might stop before you ever see the true outcome and what your potential really is. See, your altitude and your attitude determine it all. If you believe in yourself, if you think that you can do this and you stay after it and you go full throttle every single day, yes, you will be recharged, rejuvenated, and you'll see some successes along the way. But we have to understand delayed gratification is going to take place. This is not easy in terms of a concept. Nobody likes it. Think about it. When you are saving money, think about the financial realm. We're putting away money to save for something. Maybe that's a vacation. Maybe that's for a new car. Maybe that's, for some kind of special type of down deposit on your new home that you're trying to acquire. Whatever the case is, you have to do it day in and day out. And you have to say no to certain things in order to say yes for the long haul. Now, over the course of time, what happens? Time does its effect, and compound interest comes into play. Like the great Albert Einstein said, compound interest is the seventh wonder of the world, rather the eighth wonder of the world. And, with that being said, we have to wait. And by waiting, what happens is it continues to build. It has momentum. It's like when you go outside and you're a kid and you're throwing snowballs. Or if you look at the autumn, right? And the leaves that are falling and accumulating on the ground, and you rake up a very big pile. See, over the course of time, then things tend to lend themselves to see the results and you have something that is manifested. But it won't just happen automatically, and it has to take place with intentionality. But there will be a reverberating echo chamber in your life. I guarantee you that. You have to do it time and time again. You have to keep after it. You have to stay hungry and understand that it is what you do with what you have that will then make things happen in your future. See, if you have a set plan, if you take a course of action, you understand that today is a day that I'm going to start something, but realize that it might be 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 months down the road, maybe even longer than that, before you see really any substantial results, then you're preparing yourself for reality. But the same is true in the opposite end of the spectrum. But it happens and it unravels very quickly when we get out of routine, when we're unfocused, and maybe we're not disciplined. We look at our diet, maybe around the holiday season, which is coming up. It's very important for us to enjoy life, yes, however, to a degree. But you can get so far out of your realm of discipline when it comes to your eating that before you know it, you don't see like those 3 pieces of pumpkin pie are, building up, overweightness in yourself. You won't see it overnight. But what happens is it starts to build over the course of time. And then about a month or so later, you realize, wow, I'm looking at myself in the mirror. I'm not as healthy. I'm not as strong, and that's what takes place. See, we have to be cognizant and understand that what we put out into life, what we do in our own life and the life of other people has deposits, and those deposits help us to keep receipts. You hear about the great athletes in life, and when somebody is blasting on them or calling them out, saying that they aren't able to do something, or they're challenging them, they keep receipts. I want you to keep receipts in your life. I want you to take notice, and not to hold things against other people, but to utilize it to fire yourself up to be the very best that you can be, because you have talent. You have greatness inside of you. I believe in you, and I understand that you can do this. You can do whatever you put your mind to. That might seem cliche. You might have heard it time and time again, but do you really believe it? Because if you did, if you put in that work, if you put in that deposit, even if it's something as simple as doing it a little bit today, you have this fitness goal and maybe you're squeezed for time, but you recognize that your goal was to exercise 5 out of 7 days a week. And this is day number 7. You've only done it 4 times. And you're like, I'm going to get up and I'm going to get after it, even if it's for a half an hour. And I'm going to put in as much effort as I possibly can. What happens is by doing that, it builds. And just like muscles build, just like you have to break them down and you have to tear them apart for them to rejuvenate and to grow larger, what happens in our own life is with our habits, with the things that we do daily, whether it be our spiritual practices, whether it be with our finances and our ability to save, to invest, and to look at different avenues in order to better our life, whether it be the way that we serve, that we give, that we love other people, that we're a communal-based group. How are we doing this in our regular daily life, in our relationships? You think about the holiday season, a great time of year. It's just around the corner. Thanksgiving is, less than 30 days away. Christmas, 60 or so days away. This is going to be here before we know it. But what are you doing right now to prepare for it? How are you making those deposits? Who are you reaching out to? Who are you establishing relationships with? And at the same regard, who are you cutting ties with? Because as much as we want to deposit positivity and impact and goodness and richness and growth in our life, in order to challenge ourselves to be better, we also have to cut ties with things that are dragging us down, that are sucking life out of us, that are de-energizing us, that are dragging us down. Your life is too short to be sitting on the sidelines and not to be getting after it day in and day out. You have to make those deposits. And when you make those deposits, you see results. It's amazing. But again, those results aren't just going to come automatically. Eventually, you build winning systems. And my keys right here to build the winning systems come down to a few key facets and elements. Discipline. Discipline and deposits go hand in hand. Keeping receipts. Remembering the times that maybe you had failed. Writing them down and seeing what actually went wrong. Not perseverating about the problem, not just honing yourself in and, wallowing in misery. No, learning from it in order to grow, in order to make changes so that way you don't repeat the same mistakes over and over. A lot of our life is all about learning. is about educating, is about self-reflection, is about understanding where we were and where we are going now in order to get to where we ultimately want to be. Now, you might not know exactly where the path of life is taking you. However, you do know that when you worked hard at something, whether it was when you were a little kid or now when you're running a business or you're somebody who is the head of your family, you're growing something in your life that's great, it takes effort. The beauty is that nobody can take that away from you. There's not anybody that can say, hey, you got there or you got these breaks, what have you. No, it happened because you put in the work and therefore the results came. It's just like in the Bible, one of my favorite parables about the sower, right? You go out and you sow a seed, and some seed fell on ground that was hard and thorny. Other seed fell on ground that, was flat and deserted. Other seed fell on really good and rich soil. And if you plant in rich soil, growth happens at a better rate, but it still takes time to germinate. You still have to water the seed. You still have to get it the sunlight, right? You have to get it the proper nutrients. It has to be in the environment so that way it can have the growth take place. But too many of us are trying to get rich quick. Too many of us are trying to take shortcuts and, get on this diet plan or that, or to be able to take this pill or that pill in order to lose weight, instead of getting out there and maybe exercising, moving our body every single day, instead of putting in the work, keeping receipts, keeping track of our workout log. The list goes on. You want to be great at your business. You want to be great in your career. You want to be the best dad or mom that you could possibly be. Look back. How are you 6 months ago? How are you 6 months before that? Are you doing things differently now? Are you paying attention to life and the way that things are changing around you? And are you doing it differently? Are you depositing positivity, goodness, beauty, kindness, richness, authenticity? Are you living the life that you were called to live? Because we are all on a mission track. The thing is, some people aren't aware. They aren't awake. They aren't recognizing that God has a plan for them in their life. And like the seeds that have been sown, the seeds that have been planted, they take time to grow. But when they start to grow, when they start to germinate, when they bust through the soil, then exponential results can happen. Then the compounding takes place. And over the course of time and of years, we build these systems in our life and we become stronger. We grow richer monetarily, physically, spiritually, and also relationally with other people. And then it's not just so much, oh, I want to sow this seed or that seed to reap a great harvest in my own life. No, I want to do it for somebody else because I want to see them be successful as well. I want to see them take off and be launched in a new direction. I want to impact someone else's life because doing it out of goodness and of service to other people, it's making the world a better place. You have to decide what is worth it to you. What is your why? I've said this before and I'll say it again. You cannot answer this question enough. You cannot take it seriously enough. What is your why? If you can define that, if you can put a sentence on it, if you can put an answer to that question, then you will learn what it takes to do what you want to do. You will emulate the great people out there who are achieving it at an exponential level, that are doing it greater than other people. See, if you want to be the greatest at something, you have to emulate those who are doing the things to make them great. If you want to be a great athlete, you want to be a great entrepreneur, if you want to be somebody that is just taking yourself to the next level or your family to a different generation, then you have to be willing to do the things that are hard in your life. You have to be willing to say no to things that are comfort and get into the uncomfortability zone. But that all takes place when you make deposits, when you keep receipts, when you keep a running record for your life, because you're saying, hey, this is not good enough. I'm not going to settle here. There is more out there for me for the taking. There is more out there for me to achieve. There's more greatness inside of me. I'm only getting started right now. You might be exhausted hearing all this. You might say, oh, I can't do that right now. This isn't the right time, or maybe sometime down the road. Well, guess what? My thinking is maybe that time down the road won't happen. Maybe you don't have as much time as you think you do. Right now is the time to do it. If it's something that's important to you and it matters, you'll find a way. You'll figure it out. You'll heed wise counsel. You'll seek out people who have done it well in the past, so that way you can collaborate with them, you can learn, you can grow, and you could be well equipped to go out there and achieve your goals and your dreams. It is big enough, it's important enough for you to do it. So why don't you go out there and get it done? See, stop waiting around and waiting for the right time or this perfect situation or for luck. There is no such thing as that. You make your own opportunities. You seek them out. And it happens by depositing these things in your life. The great echo chamber, because the seasonality of life is going to take place. Right now, you might be in a harvest season. Then it becomes a little bit more dormant. Maybe you're working hard. You're getting after it. You're getting up every single morning. You're getting that workout in, and you don't see the results yet. Physically, when you look at yourself in the mirror, you don't see the changes happening yet. Maybe you have been more disciplined with your diet. Maybe you are trying to, get to the next level with your fitness, but you aren't seeing it yet. It's okay. Stay the course. Don't quit. Don't give up yet. The goodness, the richness, the reward, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow is on the other side. Just stay with it a little bit longer. Go one more rep, one more page read in that book to acquire that knowledge, one more phone call for those business-oriented people out there who are trying to crush it in sales, one more text message to the person that you really care about that's down and out, one more minute to play with your kids, even though maybe you're busy. Because all these things, right? All these things culminating, not only do they move the needle and the pendulum in our life in their own respective manners, but they also build up strength, inner strength within you and within me. And when we have that inner strength, it becomes easier and a little bit more sustainable to stay the course of life. When life gets hard, when things get tough, when it goes south, when it isn't going our way, then we can stay the course. We can get after it, and we can continue to have perseverance, because there's going to be so many things that are trying to sideswipe you. But when you made the deposits, when you had the seed firmly planted in the ground, and then the roots are established, firm roots like in a tree, the storms come, they sway the tree, the wind, the rain, the elements, it's going to hit you in life. That is a fact. No matter what, it's going to take place. And it happens in so many different capacities, but then you can bend, you become malleable, you become strong, you become like a palm tree. You ever think about palm trees? Why are they by the coast? They have developed over the course of time. The way that they were created by our Creator is tremendous, right? They're able to bend almost all the way over in the storm, withstanding elements of 150, 200 mile per hour winds and torrential downpours. And then eventually they will stand back up straight. Eventually they will reach their branches out up to the sky and into the sunshine again. And better days will be ahead. But you have to deposit. You have to deposit grit. You have to deposit perseverance. You have to deposit a can-do spirit that I can do this. I have the strength. I have the inner ability. I have the belief in myself and also the belief in the people around me to get it done. Because if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't think it's going to happen, nobody else out there is going to. You have to understand the deposits that you make in your life, the things that you are really honing in on. The echo chamber that you are creating today is going to pay you back in one way or another. It's going to pay you back with great reward. It's going to pay you back with great increase. It's going to pay you back with that deposit of, financial benefit, of spiritual benefit, of relational benefit, of health and wellness and vibrance, of clarity, right? Of joy and even of bliss in your life, of peace, knowing that you went to bed at night and you gave it your all. Your gas tank might be empty today, but guess what? You're going to be recharged, ready to be refueled, and go out there and to win the day tomorrow. Every single day have that mantra, I'm going to win today. I'm going to live it to my fullest, to give my best, to give my all, because I know it is worth it. You're either going to live that way or you're going to live the opposite. You're going to live a defeatist mentality. You're going to live one at a place of somebody who is a victim versus being the victor. You're going to be somebody who thinks that life has every odd stacked against you and that you won't win. And that type of life is not something that I want to fall into. That's not a mantra. That's not a game plan that I'm going to help you to cultivate. No, we're about winning. We're about success. We're about achievement. We're about doing things and vibrating at a different frequency. Why? because we can. Why? Because it's worth it. Why? Because that opens up a rich and abundant and beautiful life amidst all the trials and tribulations that you'll go through, amidst all the ups and downs, the mountain and valley moments. Life to the fullest means that you gave it all, you put everything out there, you went all in all the time, and you have nothing to regret. When you make deposits, when you are able to plant those seeds, they will germinate, they will come to fruition, and eventually you will reap the harvest if you do not give up. I believe in you. God bless you. I hope that you enjoyed something from today's episode that you could share with somebody else in your life. And if you did, please log on to ef3life.com. Check out our podcast on the YouTube channel. And as always keep your mind set on running your race and doing it for the Most High. God bless you. And as always, keep living life to the fullest.